All right, we are live, everybody. Hello, hello. Going to make sure we go live over here on Instagram. And there we are.
At my age, when
And we
people
go.
say we're live, it makes me happy.
So this little rascal over here, everybody, is award-winning artist Jim Shore, who
Hi, everybody.
always makes time to stop by Just Jill whenever
because
you're
I
in the
love this
Westchester area. Oh, I adore you.
Well, we've
So
been
much
friends.
fun.
We've
We've
been
known each other
friends
for a long time.
yeah.
I know, Jim. Decades, believe it or not.
Exactly.
So we've been having fun catching up on all things Jim and what he's been up to. And it sounds like you've had a busy summer.
I have had a very busy summer. I've been working on a lot of projects. Of course, we've done a lot of design work and a lot of creative for the line.
Yeah.
And we've got about six. I think I don't know. To tell you the truth, I'm not really sure, but I think it's about 16 or 17 co-brands.
Right.
And so I like to pay a particular attention to that. See, with Heartwood Creek, I sort of do whatever I want to.
Yes.
That's my line.
Yes.
But with the co-brands, whether it's Peanuts or whether it's the Disney things or that sort of thing, I absolutely, my goal is to be completely faithful to the characters.
Sure.
So that and if a person who collects that or likes that subject or whatever, when they see it, I don't want them to say, "Oh, it's Jim Shore piece." I want them to say, "Oh, there's Charlie Brown and Snoopy."
Right. Yeah.
Or whatever first. Then they can say,
They can look at the details.
I can see this Jim Shore's footprint on that. That's the way I like to do it.
Yeah, well, we're thrilled to have you here because when Jim's here, we pick out a couple of special items that Jim signs just for all of you. So we have a couple of those that we're going to talk about. Obviously, we're celebrating Christmas in July at Just Jill, so we do have a little bit of a holiday theme for you.
I love that, actually. Of course, at my studio, it's Christmas every day.
Yes, it is.
So,
I can imagine, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're like Santa and an elf all in one.
Well, I joke about that, but the truth is, and as you well know, being in the gift industry,
Yeah.
The timing is not like we don't do Christmas at Christmas.
Right.
We do Christmas, months and months ahead of time. Sometimes
right after Christmas, you're probably working on the next Christmas.
Well, the trade show that is designated for Christmas is in January.
January, yes, yeah. So you're working far in advance.
But see, that's for that Christmas, okay? So that's almost a year. But the samples that are shown at the gift shop or the gift mart, whatever, the trade show, those started maybe a year ahead of that.
That's amazing.
So people ask me, "Oh, what's new?" Well, geez.
You got to go back a little bit, right, to remember what you're bringing. We have so many people here who are saying hi. So Jan and Mary and Karen and John's here, David's here, Felicia, Brenda, everybody's saying hi. Welcome, Jim.
It's always so gratifying to have to be welcomed like that.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to talk about a few things. So why don't we jump in? Okay. Let's talk about those signed pieces. So let me just remind you, all of these items are available at justjillshop.com. Shipping and handling included with your order. We have 2 items that we're going to really feature that are Christmas that are signed by Jim. One is a snowman, one is a Santa. They are limited. Jim only signs a certain number of them. So when those signed pieces are gone, it's sold out. And so why don't we start with the snowman?
Okay.
Because he's a beauty. Just so you can see, signed on the back there for you. You'll laugh at this. I picked this up and I looked at the bottom and I'm like, did Jim not sign these? And Bernadette, who I work with, she's like, Jill, look on the back. And I was like, oh, there it is. So there it is. There's the signature. And tell us a little bit about this collection and what you wanted this snowman to represent.
This is a good example of,
I'm gonna hold it up close so you can see
my
it.
rendition of folk art. It's got that sort of a folk art vibe, when these things are carved. When you finish a carving, generally you sand it down to where it's not everything's all nice and smooth. Well, I like to stop a step before that and allow the gouge and chisel marks to still be there.
Yeah.
That forms that's a visual texture.
Yes.
another. It's more interesting than just a smooth surface.
Is there a technical term for that? Like I kind of call it like modeled almost, but I don't know if that's
I
right.
call it cool carving.
Cool carving. Okay.
I really don't know to tell you
Yeah.
the truth. I mean, of course, the carving obviously is done with tools and so forth. So
Yes.
you can do it any way, any way you want.
But I like it, Jim, because
That's
like
nice
you
of you.
see the short little, but then
Yeah.
these are longer here. So
Exactly.
there's like
It
different
gives you an idea
techniques,
of,
right?
of what goes into
Yeah.
the hands-on part of this, and these things are of course this is a molded, a cast duplicate of the original, but I tell people it's just a hair's breadth away from the original because every bit of this is hand done.
Right.
It's not pumped out of a injection molding machine or something.
This is not AI.
It's not a Barbie head.
No.
Okay?
With all due respect to Barbie.
Yeah, we love Barbie.
But still.
When I was a kid, I didn't want G.I. Joe. I wanted Barbie.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's hot.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay,
enough of
let's get
that.
back on the rails here, Jim.
Okay. This fits into the white woodland
Yeah.
coloration that we do, and of course
Look
it
at the
being
trees.
snowman, it's fitting that it would be like that. One of the interesting things about this snowman line that I do, and I do it for the company that I license to, UNESCO.
Yes.
Friends up there in Chicago. Well, the first grouping that I presented for Heartwood Creek was the Santas. And
Hmm.
it started out as a collection of 7 Santas that I had created, and that was with the quilt patterns and the rose modeling and all of the subject matter on it, scenes and stuff. That a lot of it had nothing to do with Santa or Christmas.
Yes.
But it just made it was
The
interesting.
storytelling.
And that was it was original enough to be. I mean, because as you know, originality is what gets you to the starting gate.
Yeah.
Then it's up to the folks out there as to whether or not you're good enough to satisfy them, and
Right.
hopefully I have been. So, and then the second one after that was a grouping of angels. Some kind of, I love doing angels. Well, when I presented and they loved it too. See,
Yeah.
then when I presented I said I have a snowman collection I want you to see.
Yeah.
They said we'll pass on the snowman. I said we're not interested in snowman. I said why not? They said, well, it's kind of passe. It's 3 white balls. What can you do? What could you possibly do with 3 white balls? I said, well, I'll show you.
In the hands of an artist, you can do a lot, right?
So that has been, and there's snowman collectors out there.
Oh, for sure.
And
And for decorating, I love it because I can put it out with my Christmas items, but I can keep it out when Christmas is over.
Exactly.
All winter long.
It's one of those pieces. I like the idea of, say, around our house, we keep stuff around all the time. I mean, I don't care whether it's pegged to a certain season. I look at, and I want this to be viewed as not just some seasonal, dust collector, but I want it to be recognized as a piece of artwork because that's what I put into this.
Yes.
And so, so it goes. But one nice thing about it, and I don't know if it shows up, but you'll notice that we have sugar glitter
Yes.
on that. And I think that adds a little bit of touch, a little bit of
Just a little.
jazz to it.
Yeah. Not overly
Mhm.
so, just a little bit.
Yeah,
So
that,
you can see it just glistens a little bit on those trees. And I love how you can see as I turn, look at the dimension of those. So it's not flat. These are dimensional. They really come to life. Look at the pine cones and the sort of garland going all the way around.
then you've got the scene that goes, that carries on all the way around, which makes
that-
it kind of interesting.
Another snowman in front of a house,
Yeah,
right? The
and
belt, and then here's the face.
Okay, then the face. I always love. Well, everything revolves around the face. That's
Yeah. If you don't get that right.
yeah, and that's what speaks to you. That's what
Mhm.
tells you what they're feeling. This has this mild satisfaction. That's what has got the bird that's perched on this garland that he's holding. Of the pine fronds or whatever, and I got some little bit of holly there, and I just think it's a.
Picture the hat.
I think
It's great.
artistically, and I try to be artistic with all this stuff. I like composition. Okay?
Mhm.
And composition and everything that I do that's what I'm shooting for. I don't always get it right perfectly, you know,
Mhm.
but that's what I'm shooting for.
Yes.
Consequently, I understand proportion and composition and perspective and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And there's rhythm and syncopation. That's one of those big words that we
Yeah.
artists throw around.
I was going to say.
Like smart, you know.
I know
He must be an artist.
I know what
He
it
knows
means.
big
I just
words.
can't spell it.
So anyway, that's kind of what I try to apply to to everything I do, and
That's great.
it comes out.
So this is the only snowman that we're going to be showing you. It's one of only 3 pieces that have been hand signed by Jim just for you, for just Jill. I'm lucky. I get sent like, here are the pieces we want to use in the show. Which ones would you like Jim to sign? And I always pick a snowman and I always pick a Santa, because I think for collectors, or even if you're just a snowman collector, maybe this is your first piece from Jim Shore, to have that signature. And this isn't a stamp you use, right?
No,
This isn't like a decal.
It's not an.
You are hand signing each and every one
It's
of
not
these.
an auto pen.
Yes, no AI
no,
here.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I mean, I think Jim.
Let me tell you something else.
Yes,
too.
tell me.
If you see this, see that signature?
Yes.
Okay, obviously that's cursive,
Yes.
but that is exactly every single of my signatures. It's just like that.
Well, tell everybody why it's
totally legible, as you can see.
why is that so important to you?
Maybe I'll put it up to this.
You're good.
Whatever. Okay. So, well, years and years and years ago, back when Jan and I were first getting, trying to make a living and
Mhm.
keeping the babies fed and roof over our head and everything, and we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. I mean, we were so broke. I had a fake Timex. So okay. So anyway, we had gone and we were up to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, to do a craft show. See if we can make some money. Well, there was an artist there too doing signings that I had always admired his work.
Mhm.
I won't say who it is, but I wanted a piece of that. And I told Jan, I said, and Jan said, look, take some of this money and go over and buy it. I said, honey, this is food money. She said, we'll be okay. So I went over there and I stood in line, to get it signed just like everybody else does.
Yeah.
And when it got to me, my turn, I had a piece, scribbled something that was completely unintelligible. Didn't look up, didn't engage with me at all. And it was just, okay, next, And it hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
And very much disappointed me. And it took the value of that piece completely away.
Yeah.
And I came back and I told Jan, I told her what happened. I said, I'm so disappointed, I said, but I can tell you right now, and this is a solemn pledge, if it ever comes to pass that somebody will honor me by allowing me to sign one of my pieces for them, I will engage them and I will make that moment mean something.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll be memorable.
Yes.
Because when they walk out the door, they'll take that experience with them.
Yes.
And I want them to.
Well, I can tell you, I have been to signing events where Jim has signed things. Remember a couple years ago, before we'd seen each other in a while, I stood in line in Atlanta, and all of a sudden you look up and you looked at me and I said, hi, Jim, it's Jill Bauer. He was like, oh my gosh, Jill. It's like a big hug moment in the middle of Atlanta Mart.
It's like, why didn't you break it in front of the line?
I waited in line like everybody else. But I can tell you, I've seen what Jim's talking about. He looks every person who's standing there waiting in line. There's no feeling like, hurry up, we've got a line we got to get through. He spends time with everybody. He makes sure each signature is completely perfect. And I think that speaks to why there's such a loyalty, not because people just love your artwork, Jim, but because people love you, because you are just a wonderful person. And that comes through in your art, but you've dedicated that to the customers. And I think truly, in a lot of ways, because I've worked with a lot of famous people in my day, that's not everybody.
Well,
so you are special.
Well, I appreciate
you. You are special. You really are. You really are.
To me, see, I know that in our business, there's a lot of moving parts. and
Mhm.
it's not just one person or one thing. We got marketing and merchandising and product development and the creativity, and
Yeah.
the sales and the distribution.
It's not just
and
you and Jan
yeah.
anymore.
Exactly.
Right? It's a lot of people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is they're all important. Okay?
Yes.
And they're all very important elements of what makes what we do successful.
Yes.
And I realize that, yes, I am one of those elements.
Hmm.
But in my mind, in my heart, I am not the most important. Most important element we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
I think
people that
way
we're
too.
working for.
Yes.
That bless us by collecting our artwork,
Yeah.
or supporting us the way they do. That's the
important thing. Yeah,
And I
that's
mean
so
that
true.
too.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. So thank you all. Thank you for being here, just hanging out. All right, so I'm going to move on from our snowman.
Okay.
Again, if you want him limited, signed just for you. What we have signed is what we have, and then we move on. Next sign piece.
I had to look at it myself. Make sure.
I checked that one too.
Okay.
All right, this is for my Santa lovers and my Cardinal lovers, because this is Santa with a birdhouse, 2 cardinals, the most gorgeous red coat, and signed on the bottom. So tell me about this beautiful Santa.
I'll tell you what, this as an example of my artwork, is a pretty good example.
It's a great example.
You
May I
know,
hold that up so they can see the back?
Sure.
Yeah. I just want you to look at the detail work,
Yeah.
everybody,
mhm.
on the back. So why do you say that, Jim? What is it about that?
Well, there's
work?
a little bit of everything. There's that sort of rose-malling, influence that I use in those kind of designs.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this is buffalo plaid in front here.
Yeah, but
So
in more of like a Harlequin almost, right? Like
Yeah,
diamond or argyle kind of. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's skewed so that it has that kind of thing. And then there's on the birdhouse, there's that sort of fraktur kind of, thing that you find so much in
Yeah.
early colonial art. And then it's got the scene there and just the personality of the Santa and with the wreath and then the cardinal, I mean, so there's a little something there that I go to, in so much of my work, and here it is all together in one piece.
Yeah.
So if you were going to say, okay, I want one piece, and I can only have one piece,
Yeah.
it's got to, be demonstrative of Jim Shore's work. That would be a probably good one.
It's a very good one. And if you're, you love Christmas, you love Santa, you love cardinals, and I know so many of you are cardinal collectors, or you also believe that, when a cardinal appears, an angel is near.
See, I believe that too.
I do too.
And I believe that from personal experience.
Was it your mother?
It was my mom.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It was my mom, and a cardinal came to visit.
Yeah.
And I said that's indicative of something. Of course, one thing about cardinals, they don't migrate.
Right.
So they are a pop of color in an otherwise sometimes drab
Yes.
environment, and a harbinger of good things to come.
It's
And
true.
So it's a beautiful bird.
It's always, I always find it interesting too. Cardinals for me started with my grandmother, who I spent a lot of time with growing up on their farm, and she loved cardinals, so she had them everywhere in the house. But when she passed away, my son had just been born. He was 2 weeks old, and so we made the trek out to Indiana. Went to the service. We're standing there in the cemetery, and in May, and all of a sudden, here's a red cardinal zipping around.
Mhm.
And it was like, my grandmother just had to come and have the last word.
You see,
She had to make sure everybody was there.
Let me tell you something. If you were in a crowd of people and you were to say, I want to show of hands of people who have had this emotional, connective experience with cardinals,
Mm-hmm.
I bet you'd be amazed at how many hands
go up?
So that means that it's true.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I find too, and maybe you've noticed this, maybe you have too. My husband and I will be sitting outside and we'll be talking about my dad, or we'll be talking about my grandmother, and there comes a cardinal.
I know.
It's just,
exactly.
isn't that something? It's like, oh, hi. Even my kids growing up, when they would see a little red cardinal, they would be like, hi, great grandma. Like they really, because we talked about
Mhm.
how there was this connection. So I kind of love that meaning and that sentiment. And then with the childlike wonder of Santa.
Well,
right?
the
Like,
whole
The whole
Santa,
idea is to believe,
exactly, and
right?
the whole
The whole idea
history
is to
of
believe.
Santa that goes all the way back to the 5th century monk, that would, through his generosity and so forth, sort of set the tone for that legend as it grew,
Yes.
and then finally it being, sort of almost the personality or the personage, I guess you'd say, of Santa, sort of culminating in the 1822 poem, The Night Before Christmas,
Yep.
of which we have.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a book
Okay.
with
So,
Jim Shore illustrations.
Okay. But anyway, but the whole feeling of Santa, being, the gift giving and everything like that, it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, we never lose sight of the real meaning of Christmas.
Of course.
But there's my
There's the signature.
See, didn't I tell you?
Jim
it's the same?
Shore. It's the same.
It's the same.
It's the same. So this is our other limited edition piece. Limited because it's signed by Jim only for Just Jill. You can't find this. Now, if you've bought it somewhere else and then you come to a signing and you meet Jim and he signs it for you, great. But there aren't a lot of places where you can walk in and say, I would like a signed Jim Shore piece, please. But we're very lucky that Jim signs a very small number for all of you. And, it makes it extra special, especially for those of you who love Jim's work, are collecting the work. We wanted to, and Jim especially, wanted to do something extra for all of you.
And there's a lot of work to go.
Yeah.
I want to show you that back just one more time.
It's incredible.
Okay, that's all, of course, tone on tone. But that's a lot of work. And
do you sketch that first?
Oh, absolutely.
Or do you just start?
No, I draw everything first.
Yeah.
Every single piece I've ever done.
Draw it.
I make a comprehensive, highly detailed. That's if I would say, what are you, if somebody said, what are you the very, very best at?
Yes.
I would say I can draw.
You can draw. Did you doodle when you were a kid in class?
I doodled. I was a doodler.
You were a doodler.
Anyway,
when you were supposed to be learning about history, were you doodling?
And here's the thing: we have an accumulation of over 18,000 drawings that I've made.
Wow.
And paintings, and we have them all archived.
Have you ever thought about? Has that been put into a book?
Well, what we did, we had kind of a retrospective at the Monsanto Gallery at Lander University in Greenwood, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And we took several thousand, and my daughter's a professor there.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, in art.
Cool. Shocking.
And so, the apple falling from the tree. Okay, so we took several thousand of them and put them in certificate frames and put them side by side, up and down, over every square inch of every panel and every surface in the entire gallery.
Oh my gosh.
And you'd walk in, it looked like a lattice of these drawings.
Wow.
I impressed myself. So, and then we had about 350 of my sculptures,
Amazing.
It was a good show. But that was the real bulk of the true art.
Yeah.
And see, I do that, and I always have, so that I can communicate. I know what I'm doing, so I don't have to, do something for myself, because I see it.
Yes.
I know exactly where it's going. So I know what I'm going to do, and so I draw exactly what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that way I can send a copy of that to Orlando for Disney, or out in California, or up in Chicago, or to Australia, or anywhere, and they know what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And to me, see, after I get finished with that, I could wad that up and throw it away, because that's not used. I don't use it anymore. My daughter, Robin, who a lot of people know.
Yes, you do the Facebook Lives together. Yes.
She's so adorable.
Yeah. Oh, she's super sweet.
Well, she is, and she's highly, highly organized, and I am highly not. So
I think that's why you and I get along so well, because I'm not very organized either.
Yeah. But she saved every single one of them. Every single one of them.
Wow.
The very first one that I started doing that process. And and so when we had some of the artwork that I'd done appraised, for various purposes, tax and stuff.
Right.
And I totally ignored the drawings.
Yeah.
And Robin said, well, what about the drawings? And the appraiser said, well, what drawings? We showed him, and he said, oh my God. So they brought in an art geek,
Wow.
and so he puts a price, and he said, my God, this is an enormous body of work.
Yes.
So it was, it's valued in the 7 figures.
Wow.
So
I believe that.
So I immediately gave Robin a bonus.
A raise.
So that worked out pretty well.
Oh, all right. Well, we're going to move on from our Santa. So our Santa and our snowman are 2 pieces that are signed. Danette said, I'm getting this Santa. I just love him. So thanks, Danette. People are saying I have so many different pieces, signed pieces. Oh, in fact, Matthew, who's a regular here at Just Jill, he said he has the Peanuts nativity. So we have that Peanuts nativity here. Now, this isn't a signed piece, but this is one of those sort of collaborations that you do, those co-brands that you talk about. So, gosh, you could have picked any characters to put in here. Let's talk about how you sort of did the nativity.
Okay, so oftentimes I'll pick something from the little movie that they made, or from the comic strip itself.
Yes.
And this is one of those things that they did. They had that little
little play.
Yeah. And I thought it's going to be cute, So there's
Chuck, Charlie Brown, and Lucy and Sally, right?
And then of course there's Peanuts.
Snoopy and Peanuts,
Snoopy.
Woodstock is in the
Woodstock. Last year I was invited by the folks at Peanuts.
Yeah.
To be their keynote speaker at what they call Beagle Fest.
Oh, how fun!
That's their convention.
Yes.
And it was magnificent. I mean, it was just so many people that are enthused over this subject, and I am
sweet.
Too. So it was great.
Love that. So that's one of the Peanuts items that we have. We have others over at Just Jill Shop, but I wanted to show that to you because I also love that you have this sweet little nativity. It doesn't take up a lot of room. And maybe you remember being in like that little play, or your grandkids were in the little play.
Well, that's the thing about it. See, this is really designed more for the kids, I think.
Yes.
This is something you could have in your child's room or something.
Yes.
And it's a whimsical way of paying tribute to the real
reason
of
Christmas. Yeah, absolutely. So there's that particular Peanuts piece. All right. Do you want to talk about the book?
Sure.
Real quick? All right, let's talk about this.
Okay, this was a project that I spent a little bit of time on, and it's my rendition.
Yep, that's perfect.
Glare off of it.
Yeah.
Of the this famous poem, "The Night Before Christmas," and it's actually a visit from St. Nicholas is actually the real name of the poem.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Wow.
But people say, well, the night before Christmas. 'Cause that's the main gist of it. And so I illustrated everything. And I'll get
love this.
Yeah, that's the opening salvo.
Did you even do the letters and everything too? The lettering? Yeah.
Well, that was one thing about it. See, rather than printing, I did all of the, as you can see, like that.
Yeah.
See, that's
I love it.
basically calligraphy.
Nice.
It's all hand done. And there's see, I started out. It's okay on a winter's eve in 1822. Clement Moore set quill to parchment and was inspired to write a poem for "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
Mm-hmm.
And that's I made that up. So
I like it.
a little poet in me.
I love it.
And then there's an illustration there of him actually sitting down and writing the poem.
Yeah.
And so it's probably the most famous poem concerning the visit from St. Nicholas, and actually it sort of set the tone for what we think of as
Santa. Yes, yes. The reindeer.
Yeah, so it goes on, and
beautiful artwork.
The illustrations are
beautiful, isn't it?
That kind of stuff, and they're all banded or bordered, I guess, with this, and then I've got all these little sort of vignettes as I'm doing verse by verse.
Love it.
And okay.
Oh my gosh, the detail on these pictures, Jim.
This is the thing,
Look at that. I mean, look at the wallpaper.
Yeah.
Look at the nail heads on this chair.
Well, it was the night before Christmas, so all through the house, not a creature, That's a preacher. Was stirring.
Not even.
Not even a mouse.
Look at the mouse. That is so cute.
So-
You must have had fun doing this.
I had a ball doing
Yeah,
it, really.
yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
And the style of the artistry is different, isn't it, than when you're sketching or when you're carving?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a different. It's kind of a different.
Because not that these don't look realistic, but when you're actually drawing
Yeah.
humans,
Yeah.
you know, there's a different level of artistry that's needed. I see all of your little colonial, you know, like the pineapple
Yeah.
and all of that, you know,
Yeah,
like
and
all
there's
these the symbols.
There's
And
the. You know what those are called?
no, but it's like that's very Pennsylvania Dutch, isn't
Very,
it?
very Pennsylvania
Yeah.
Dutch, which actually is
Deutsch.
Deutsch.
Yes.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
that.
My last name's Bauer.
I should
Of course,
know.
Metzger. Like that's my family. It's about as German as you get.
Well, you know, Shore originally was Schorr.
Oh yeah.
The Germans.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are distal finks.
Distal things.
Yeah,
I
they-
never knew that.
Yeah, it's like a symbol for good luck.
Oh, cool.
You
Yeah.
see it sometimes on the
On barns and
barns.
houses.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have some old tins that were
Yeah.
my grandmother's that have
That's-
that on them.
That's the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Distal
it's called.
things.
Distal
Ooh.
fink.
All right,
Yeah.
show us one more picture.
Okay, one more picture.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the where the
Visions
all-
of sugar
yeah
plums.
snug in their bed with visions of sugar plums danced in their head.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Anyway, the whole book is like that. It's we've got
That is
all
a
of it,
treasure
and it
for you to sit with your grandkids
Yeah.
and your children, your grandchildren, and read that book with all that beautiful artwork.
See, when I was a kid, when we had and we've carried that tradition through to my children and my grandchildren now, is we would read the birth story out of the King James version.
Yes,
of the Bible.
right.
And then Mom would read the night before
For Christmas. Oh, that's
and
nice.
we did that every Christmas Eve.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a nice tradition.
It was. a
Yeah,
nice tradition.
meaningful,
Yeah.
really meaningful.
Yeah, when we do that, I always think back on them. It gives me good feeling.
Yeah, my cousin was just visiting me last week, and she's 6 years younger than I am, but I'm an only child, so she was always like a little sister to
Yeah.
me. And we had so much fun just sitting and reminiscing and talking about our grandparents.
Well, I
Um,
had two other brothers.
That feeling of family.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like in some ways
Family is most important.
it's
thing.
so important.
We
Yeah.
have 6 kids, and of course we have 13 grandkids now. And
They keep you on your toes.
and every one of them, of course, when I was growing up, I had 2 brothers, so it was often that I wished that I was the only 2.
There's sometimes it's nice, but there are
No,
also
I-
moments where it's nice to have a sibling. for
Actually,
sure.
we had a very loving family. We dad and mom. We didn't have very much, but they were good parents
Yeah,
and hardworking, and
you had love.
it really was. And,
Yeah.
and I love the fact that every night we had to sit down to
Dinner. Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that tradition too. All right, should we talk about a couple
Sure
more
thing.
figures? All right. I want to just talk real quickly about these kind of fun.
That's one of my favorite things to do. Actually, it's kind of like making a totem pole sort of thing.
Yes,
A stacked. We call it stacked.
with the gingerbread cookies. Aren't they so cute?
Well, I've done every subject that I can think of. In that
In that stack,
yeah,
yes.
that stack. That way, you have a very small footprint, and it tells a really
This is
sometimes-
vertical decorating.
yeah. Sometimes, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like there's vertical gardening.
That's
This is
right.
vertical decorating. So each one of these, even has, look at the detail in the back. And then around the front, each one slightly different in the way that it's decorated, holding a present, holding a candy cane, holding a little Christmas tree cookie, sitting on top of a cupcake. How cute in your kitchen.
Mhm.
But again, not a big footprint, right? So narrow, couple inches in width, inch and a half, 2 inches front to back.
That's one of those things you can have something that really,
So cute.
well, obviously it's meant to bring you some joy and that
Yes.
kind of stuff. Oh, by the way, we have sugar glitter on it too in different
Yeah.
places, and that
Just a little bit,
adds a little bit of jazz to it.
that little high and low.
Uh-huh.
Love that.
But I love doing that for that reason. You can have it sitting there. It doesn't take up. It's not like taking up the whole mantle or anything.
Right.
But, you can put it most anywhere.
Or if when you put out your desserts
Yeah.
for the holidays, this
Yeah.
goes right next to it. Put
This-
it in the kitchen.
When we decorate, okay,
I
Jan
love this.
Jan
So cute.
is an absolute force of nature when it comes to decorating.
How many trees do y'all put up in your house?
We have 12. Yeah, we have 12
Are they
trees.
themed?
Oh, yeah,
Different themes?
they-
Yeah. Does
well,
she change the themes?
No.
Okay, so it's like,
We have a purple one, we have a silver one, we have of course we have a purple one.
yeah.
And we have one in the dining room for all food.
Don't stand next to it; you'll blend in. Where's
I don't mind
Jim?
blending. I mean, sometimes that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That's Then in the living room, and we have our living room has a very tall ceiling, so we have these a cluster of 3 trees, a
Nice.
16-footer, a 12-footer, and a 10-footer, with so many ornaments on it you can barely see the tree.
Wow.
Yeah, Jan's collected them for years and years,
I love that though.
and some of them are German antiques that are very very valuable,
Yes.
and some of them come from the dollar store.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
lot of my ornaments too. 'Cause-
Are mixed in. Yeah.
exactly.
So whose job is it to decorate these trees?
Well, we have
do you have people help you?
we have
Yeah.
we have several. We have a small staff of housekeepers, and they and their husbands come,
Coming.
and the kids
Yeah.
come.
I was gonna
and-
say, whose job is it to
and,
climb the ladder to do the
and-
16-foot tree?
So we yeah. Well, one of them we have a catwalk up where we have a grand piano up there on the
Yeah.
catwalk, and that's how they decorate.
They
the
do
top.
it. Oh, I love
Yeah.
it. That's great. That's
and then
great.
when it comes time to take it all down, I normally plan one of my trips
There you go.
to coincide with it. So
Smart man.
putting up's a lot more fun than taking
They're
down.
taken down. We have another cute little gingerbread-esque piece that Jim has created. So again, this has all the elements that Jim puts into his pieces in terms of detail, but this is really that fun sort of whimsical look, which I think is darling. So that's the sweet shop.
And for people who like that subject, and for the season, I mean, it's
Cute.
it's a natural,
Look at that.
obviously.
What's
Yeah.
that? It turns on. Oh, it turns on. Sorry. Forgot to do that. Little lights.
Even better.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
So it lights up. You have the snowman in front with the little heart buttons, the tree, which is darling, but the detail on all of the sides,
See, it turned red.
all the way around. I think they stay red, don't they?
I think they were white to begin with, weren't they?
I think it's just the way it glows inside there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
the lights are red. I don't know
You're
if you can tell that.
Can you see
We have a
that?
photo
Bob?
on the shop.
Yeah, we have a photo over on the shop with the red lights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez,
All right.
I should know. Yeah.
That's okay. And then I just want to show the top of this too, because I love how you did these little kind of almost like kisses
Little gumdrops.
and the little gumdrops going across the
Yeah.
top. I feel like this is one of those items, every time you look at it, you sort of notice a different little
Mm-hmm.
detail. And it has some of that shimmer that you were talking about too, Jim. So again, you've got just a little bit
Well,
of
you know, once
reflection.
again, for decorating, see a piece like this, you can either use something like that as a small centerpiece for a little vignette,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be something that coordinates along with some of the other pieces.
Yeah. So
So
you could do a little bakery collection.
yeah, exactly.
Very
And
cute.
Maintain the theme.
And then here, another Santa. I was saying to Jim, I really love this kind of Nordic collection that
we
you created.
we actually call that the Nordic Noel. And it's based roughly on the decoration and the clothing and so forth worn by the what they call the Sami.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people refer to them as Laplanders,
Okay.
the northern Scandinavian, like that. That's where real reindeers are.
Yeah, right.
But they don't want to be called Laplanders. They prefer to be called Sami. So out of
Okay.
respect for them, that's how I refer. And but their artistry is absolutely gorgeous. And so we used a little bit of those elements in that.
I love it. I think it's so, look at the detail there. Almost kind of like that bird's eye look. Those look almost like trees. Those are your little kind of quilting stars, right? But all done in the red and the white.
And then of course the sisal tree. I think
Yes. With the
has
red
a-
berries.
has a mixed media kind of
Yeah.
edge to it.
And a great, again, that Santa face is
Mhm.
just so peaceful. So if you love your reds and whites, this is beautiful.
Some people accuse me of making some of these as self-portraits.
Well, somebody said that earlier about the snowman. They
Yeah.
said they felt like that looked like you. So,
Yeah.
but how could you not? Like, I feel like, how could a little bit of you not be part of the twinkle
I
in the
think it's a
eyes.
subliminal thing maybe that artists do. Make it a little alter ego or something. Yeah.
Somebody wanted to know, I don't even know that if there's a story here. Is there a reason why you wear purple?
Yes.
Can you share that?
I wear purple every day.
Yes.
And in one fashion or another, people say, well, don't you ever change your shirt? I have 24 of them. So, yeah.
But how did that start?
My grandmother was such an influence on me growing up.
Yeah.
She was a master quilter and very artistic in her own right.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of, that has woven its way through our family tree going way back.
Were your parents creatives too?
My parents were very creative. My mother was a good artist, and so consequently, they created an environment that was very good for me to, as a young artist growing up,
right?
Because they recognized and appreciated, my artistic
your talent,
early on. But my grandmother, she never said, Jim, today I'm going to teach you this. But this is the lesson for today. No, I learned a lot from her just by observing how she approached her art. And her art was quilting. She would do these, what they call crazy quilts. And they call it that because it is kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. And it looks like random shapes thrown here and there, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's very, very well thought out. A good one is. Mm-hmm. And because I talked earlier about this color balance and all this kind of thing.
The syncopation.
Hey, I'm so gratified. So I turned out a word today. You're a good student. So,
that might be the first time I ever heard someone tell me that because I wasn't really in school.
Neither was I. But okay. Anyway, so but she, the way she would approach it, and she would always tell me, look, the way you can tell a good piece of artwork is to look at it and see what it does to your eye. If your eye follows this thing around and finds interest in this, and if it stops somewhere, chances are maybe that's the best thing on the thing, but it's wrong. Doesn't belong there.
Huh.
You need that continuity, that a good piece of artwork. And I judge my own artwork every time like that very same way. So I remember a lot about my grandmother, and her favorite color was purple. Mm-hmm. She loved wearing purple. When she would do alterations for the department stores in town. She would always put a piece of purple thread in it. That was kind of
like her signature.
Yeah, kind of her signature. So,
I love that.
So out of respect and love for my grandmother,
you wear purple.
I wear purple.
I love that.
Purple's a great color.
Yes.
It's a passionate color.
Mm-hmm.
It's right in between the hots of the reds and the cool of the blues. So you can be anything.
Yeah, right.
It's royal color.
Royal.
And if you mix red, white, and blue, you get lavender. So there you go.
I love it.
It's patriotic.
It's a patriotic color.
Yeah.
I love that. So there's the story of Jim Shore and purple.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That's awesome. Can we talk about that animal tree there?
Sure.
Is that from the Winter Woodland collection?
This is one of the White Woodland.
White Woodland, sorry.
Yeah,
hold that.
Okay. And once
so
again,
this is all for all my animal lovers.
Yeah. That is sort of a take on that stacked, thing.
Yes.
Or the Animals of Bremen, that story.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about that story in years.
It's kind of like that.
Yes. With the donkey, right?
Yeah.
And then all the others. But
other things,
look at that. So this you have there's a little beaver down there, a bunny, a raccoon, a moose.
Moose.
Yeah. A white polar bear cub. Oh my gosh, there's like a little mouse.
Don't forget him.
There's another baby raccoon, a little baby squirrel, a deer, a horned sheep, a fox.
That's a doll sheep.
A doll? Doll sheep.
DAHL, I believe.
Where do they live?
They live up in the Yukon, up in northern Canada.
Then there's a bunny, an owl, and there's a little cardinal on top.
Yeah.
I'm making sure there's no little animals hiding from me.
There might be some squirreled away in there that you missed.
So there, look at all of the detail. This must have been fun for you to do too, right? I mean,
yes. Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that. Everybody says, it's so great to constantly do something that you're meant to do, and that you're going to have something that you love and you enjoy. This isn't a matter for me personally. It's not a matter of of like, okay, I do this because I love it. I'm driven to do it. you know?
Yes.
And a lot of this stuff, even the co-brands are things that I wouldn't have done were I not asked to do it,
Right.
But I throw myself into it, because that's just the way I do,
Yeah.
And so it's rewarding because I'm always looking. I'm not looking at the now. I'm looking at the end product. My
Mm-hmm.
dad was like that. I don't care what and he did everything. He was one of those kind of guys that could do everything. And I inherited a lot of that kind of drive, from
Yes.
him.
Yes.
But it never bought it. It never occurred to him that, what something was going to be hard. Well, I don't care about what's happening in between the start. I only care about the finish.
Yes.
So something similar.
That's the same. So that's from the White Woodland collection.
Yes.
That actually would look very nice if you got our signed snowman. If you're just joining us, don't forget, this is one of the 2 pieces from the Christmas collection that Jim has signed just for you here at Just Jill. We have a limited number, and when those signed pieces are gone, it's done.
One nice thing about the White Woodland collection, it's very easy to to add to your decoration.
Yes.
It doesn't fight with your decor.
Right.
Or it doesn't stand out, which I don't mind my pieces standing out, but sometimes it doesn't, it's not as appreciated as much aesthetically.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Those 2 together, I think, look really
Yeah, me
nice. And then we do have one more White Woodland piece behind you here, Jim. I'm
Okay.
going to bring this
All
one.
right.
This is one of the biggest pieces that we have in the show.
That's a good piece.
Has these bells hanging down, a basket of white poinsettias, that same incredible carving on the back. Look at how this is executed around the front, and then those pine boughs with the pine cones and the greenery as well. So talk a little bit about this.
Well, this
piece.
is another one of those pieces that come out of the White Woodland, collection.
Yeah.
And that, as you can see, so much of it is neutral, very mild, as far as the coloration is concerned. Now, as far as the detailing
The
of
detail.
you can see that. See, that's once again, that carving is like that, and that's really not easy because this is if you think about composing this, you have to start off correctly so that you end up correctly.
Yes.
And it's got to have this flow to it so that it flows once again. See, it flows
Like
all
your
over.
grandmother said,
Just
right?
like Grandma
I'm not
said.
stopping anywhere.
Exactly,
Right.
and that's the way it does. So, and it's a beautiful visual texture, and it's not all colored up and everything,
Yeah.
which is okay. But an application like this, I think the visual texture is just wonderful.
It's beautiful.
And then the design work down here is almost like this North
almost-
Woods,
yeah.
almost.
It's a little southwestern almost.
Well, it could
You know,
be,
it has a little bit of that
yeah.
kind of Zia
Exactly,
pattern
yeah,
look to it.
You're right.
With the soft, like grayish blue and like
Or
that pop of coral.
Or even the Hudson blanket,
Yes.
things,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
like the Pendleton.
Yes, exactly.
I
Exactly.
have a Pendleton jacket that I bought in Oklahoma City,
Yes.
and they pattern their things out of real things.
Yes.
This is patterned after Geronimo's war blanket.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I want to get with it, I
There
put
you
that
go. Look
Go to
out.
So, okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So here's this beautiful piece. I love when you do these kind of
Yeah, me too.
mixed media, I
Me
guess,
too,
kind
yeah.
of pieces. So hanging these bells, and then look at that look at the carving on the basket,
Yeah.
first of all, and then inside those beautiful white poinsettias.
I just thought that was
look
perfect.
at that, Jim. That's
Yeah,
gorgeous.
The using the white poinsettias,
Beautiful.
as opposed to the red poinsettias, just fit this piece perfectly.
It's gorgeous. And again, some splurges here, but here's your signed snowman. So that can
And
work.
that
Get the
in front of
tree.
you.
Yeah.
See?
So look at
Again.
that grouping.
So if you were decorating, you
Wow.
see, this could be the centerpiece, these could be this, and then you could have ornaments and different other little pieces in there.
Flameless candles would be
Yeah,
pretty.
candles and
you
that,
know?
and maybe some fake snow or some greenery or something,
Beautiful.
and make something that would go across your mantle or
Yes.
down your dinner table
Yes.
for your party or whatever.
We have our gorgeous Nordic pine garland that, so many of you have already bought this season with the little light. So put down that garland, then these 3 pieces.
Yep.
Stunning. That would be gorgeous. And pieces, I can tell you. So when I met my husband, almost 25 years ago, and one of the things that we had in common is we were both Santa collectors.
Oh, really?
And one of the first Christmas items I ever bought for him was a Jim Shore Santa.
Is that right?
Yes. So you've been part of my marriage too, Jim, and you didn't even know it. But I can tell you every year, like when we bring out, it's like, where are the Jim Shore pieces? Like we can't wait to bring out those pieces because we enjoy looking at them year after year.
When I do these signings, a lot of times, people will say, we have a Jim Shore Christmas.
We have a Jim Shore
I cannot
Christmas.
tell you how that touches my heart.
That's sweet. Yeah.
I am so gratified. Or they'll say, we remember you in our Thanksgiving prayer. I mean,
my goodness.
I don't even know what to say sometimes. But the connection that I have with so many of the folks out there is so absolutely heartwarming.
Don't you love too, Jim, being reminded how much goodness is out there? I feel like, you get so bombarded with all the negative stuff in the media and social media and the news and but good is out there.
Well, and I'll tell you the truth, good gravitates to what we do.
Yeah.
The gift industry is full of good people on
Yes.
both sides of it, and I can't tell you how delighted I am to be a little part of it.
Yes.
And meet, warm-hearted people like you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. What a pleasure it's been for me all of these years to see and enjoy and appreciate your beautiful art. One more thing. And then I want to talk real quickly because we do have our one angel. We have a couple of her to go around that's signed. She's not necessarily a Christmas angel, but she's a beautiful angel and she is signed. But I think there are also so many of you out there who are dog and cat lovers or, fur moms and fur dads to your pets, that this is so sweet because it looks like all the cats and dogs found Santa when he was making his rounds.
well, I'll tell you what, we love those animals.
Do you have pets?
Our pet passed away recently.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
He was, just a member of family.
I know it's the biggest ache.
Yeah,
it really is.
And but we'll get another one.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Now the design work on this piece though is more reminiscent of that sort of colonial.
Yeah.
German Fraktur influenced, stuff that you'd see with the Pennsylvania Dutch and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
And then you have all the detail, even this raised detail that goes around the bag. And then look at that beautiful detail in the little bag. And then little puppies and kitties and presents, different colors. So you're trying to satisfy everybody there,
once
right?
Again,
everybody looks for their color of cat or dog.
I'm glad you brought that up. Here's the thing with cats.
Yes.
Cat lovers.
Yes.
Love cats.
They do.
You make a cat, and cat lovers, chances are going to love.
Yeah.
Not so with dogs.
No, we want our breed.
Dogs lovers don't love dogs. They love a dog.
A dog. Yes.
And and it has to be absolutely perfect. In fact, and even the markings. By the way, in Charleston,
yes,
there is a fire station in Charleston that has a statuary out in front of a Dalmatian.
Mm-hmm.
I've been tempted, and I will do this. I will go to the captain. I say, I have got to repaint that thing because you've got spots on its tail.
And they don't have spots on their tail.
They don't have spots on their tail. I can't walk past it
without seeing it.
Look.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I'm going to fix that one.
There you go.
But even with this, so I wanted, even that little piece there, I paid attention to the expression on there, even the animals' faces. So
and look how cute.
If
you have a dog that likes to stick their head out the window, that's exactly what dogs look like.
Dogs smile,
They do smile.
Yeah.
They do smile.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that is absolutely darling. And then finally, let's talk about our angel. And we'll revisit the 2 signed pieces again real quickly because I know some of you are just joining us. I don't have many of her to go around, but she is a beautiful angel to have out year round. She's done in these soft blues and pinks and creams, the most serene face, this beautiful bouquet of flowers, and then signed, of course, for you by Jim. So talk a little bit about this angel, kind of a departure from Christmas, but
Well,
I know how you enjoy creating angels.
angels are my favorite subject.
Mm.
And I've always got angels, one angel or another, or a grouping of angels, in the studio at any given time. And the thing about angels, they can be so many, there's represent so many different things.
Yes.
They can be, the guardian angel, or this delicate thing, or they can be whimsical, or they can be fierce.
Yes. Yeah.
We had one of the angels that I did was a warrior angel in full battle dress, dedicated to our men and women in uniform.
Amazing.
And the proceeds of that we donated to the Military Families Association, and we're able to raise over $160,000
That's
for
fantastic,
that
Jim.
effort. So,
Wow.
so that angel, meant a lot to me. And an angel like this, see, now when I started doing angels, it was all basically your angel with white or something like that. And I started doing, I said that's boring. I don't see angels as boring.
Yeah.
So I started doing colors and patterns and designs and all that stuff. And to me it just adds so much.
Yeah.
To the character of an angel.
Yeah.
And of course, something like this, you have all this patterning here. Okay. Now think of the proportion of the patterning. Okay. It's a little bit oversized. Then look at the proportion of the flowers. And it contrasts that because the flowers are so small and delicate. And have so much extreme detail, whereas the flowing pattern is so loose and sort of organic,
Mm-hmm.
So I try to think of stuff like that when I'm doing these things, so it's interesting, even if you're not artistic per se,
Mm-hmm.
but you still, it's like not being musical, but enjoying music.
Yes. Yes.
And it's the same way with this. You'll enjoy that even if you don't understand why you enjoy it.
Yes. Yeah. She's just such a pretty face, and beautiful gift for someone. So many of you collect angels. She's special.
My family is, my granddaughters and all, they're pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of my granddaughter sometimes when I'm doing these angel faces.
Yeah. Well, she is a beauty. So if you'd like her, we only have a few of them signed, but definitely check that out. We have far more from Jim over at justjillshop.com. Shipping and handling included with every item. If you buy more than one Jim Shore item, you save 10%. So that's another nice savings. And then the 2 Christmas items we had for you today that are signed specifically for you, our Just Jill customers, are this wonderful white woodland snowman, again, with that little scene in the front, the signature on the back, with the little red bird and the kind of branch there with the pine cone and the greenery, and then this incredible Santa that has so many things. I mean, it has that beautiful detail on the back, the birdhouse, the wreath, the 2 cardinals, that kind of buffalo plaid, right, of the red and the black, a beautiful representation of all of the types of designs that Jim creates. It's a good specimen, that one.
Agree.
And so are you.
Well,
So nice to have you here. Thank you for always making time for me and for, most of all, our fantastic audience.
It is my honor.
Oh, we love having you.
Absolute delight to be with you.
Thank
and with
you.
all of our friends out there, because as they know, they mean so much to me.
Yeah.
I love every one of you.
Well, thank you. Hope to see you soon.
Okay.
All right.
And
Looking
Merry
forward
Christmas.
to it. Well, Merry Christmas in July to you. Thank you for being here, everybody. Please check out, justjillshop.com. Again, you can see Jim's entire assortment. Pick up those signed pieces. When they're gone, they're gone. We'll get some different designs signed by Jim heading into the actual Christmas season, but we wanted to give you something special for Christmas in July. So have a great rest of your week. Thank you again for being here, and we'll see you soon.
Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.